Recording, it says. Well, I don't know. Is it actually recording? Guess we'll find out. This is the HDR-CX190. So-called active steady shot. If I remember right, this was one of the last good HD cameras that Sony ever had. I don't remember exactly what model came after this, if it was the 200 or the 220, but I know the 220 at least was really cheap, and the 240 I had was even cheaper than the 220. Well, this should be a nice replacement for this camera up there, assuming that it actually works, which so far it seems to. Despite the fact that it's got the yellow picture, a little bit of yellow on the LCD. Seems to be working great. Can't take pictures while you're recording when you're in the highest quality mode, which is what this is. My 32 gigabyte SD card seems to have gone bad the amount of time it's been since I used it. But I have an 8 gigabyte card and that seems to be working. So we'll see what the video it records to it's like. If it actually is recording good video, or if maybe there's something wrong with the SD card reader. But I mean, if it works, that's not bad for 15 bucks. So low light test. Steady shot isn't apparently not that great, even with the active steady shot. So, yeah, it is what it is, really. I think it's ridiculous that we live in a day and age where you have to update your TV. Well, I just checked the previously recorded clips and it seems to work. Although the steady shot seems to not be too good on this model. And I thought the video looked kind of soft. I turned off the so-called active steady shot and just put it in standard mode, which I think is just regular electronic image stabilization. Of course, I think active steady shot is also electronic. Or maybe it's the other way around, as the standard steady shot is just the optical. Because I noticed when I change it over to active, the field of view narrows. So that's usually a telltale sign of electronic image stabilization. So it seems to work. The yellow that I see on the view screen does not show up in the video clip, which again, that's as described. And the yellow actually seems to somewhat go away the more I use it, so I'm sure it's just got something to do with the backlight on the camera itself, although I'm not sure why that would be a problem. It doesn't show any other signs of being a high-hour unit, so I'm not sure about that. Either way, I don't know what I can and cannot adjust on this. I believe I can adjust the scene, so that's a so-called night scene, sunrise and sunset, fireworks, landscape, which is not the same as portrait and landscape, portrait, spotlight, beach, and snow. Of course, we'll change it back to auto. And what else do we get? Oh, he's leaving on me. I don't think he likes camera tests too much. Let's see, what else do we get here? This is not a touch screen, by the way. It's using a joystick, which is probably a good thing, because I'm sure that if it was a touch screen, the touch screen wouldn't work, because my life is a comedy. I think I just adjusted the white balance. Oh no, that wasn't what I just did. So, we have automatic, outdoor, indoor, and one push. The whites, what did that say? The white retrieve with the set is set as the basis. I don't know what that means, so we'll just set it back to auto. And we'll go automatic exposure. We can adjust that manually. It's already pretty high. In fact, it doesn't seem to go much higher than I had it. And we can bring it down really low. It's not a very good control. Yeah, it won't go any higher than that. That's as high as it gets. So put it back onto automatic. Come over here. Focus. Manual focus. Let's see what we can do here. You can see it come into focus. Change it back to automatic. One thing I don't like is how you have to go back into the menu all the time. The low lux, we'll turn that on. And we'll go to a scene of low lighting. I don't have another camera I can really use to show you this one, so there you go. There it is, the HDR-CX190. I mean, I could probably use one of the iPhones or whatever to record this, but it's a different file format, so I don't really want to, because the iPhones record progressive video, and I don't think this does. I know it's not 60 frames per second capable. It seems to be 60i, so I mean, that's one thing that the newer cameras did give you over this older one, but I think this older one is better in terms of feature set. It does have the built-in USB cable. It also has an external USB connection, so that's nice. What else do you get? You get the AV input and output. You also get the, it's a combination SD card and memory stick slot and the DC input. I think it's Memory Stick Pro Duo compatible. I don't really know. I might have one that I can try and test it with. It's a full-size SD card slot, though. Are we gonna focus? No, anyway. Let's go somewhere dark. Let's see what it can do. This is with the low lux turned on. And this is with it turned off. So, it does seem to actually work. But of course, it does fairly well in low light anyway. What else do we get? So, low lux. The scene selector was what I was on. We got the faders. I'll show that in a minute. Telemacro is turned off. I can't actually select it. Probably because I'm recording right now. The steady shot, active versus standard, and turned completely off. Active, I believe, turns on electronic image stabilization, and standard is just optical, but I'm not positive on that one. Digital zoom, we could turn that off or use 300 times. That's kind of useless. Auto backlight compensation. Face detection and all that is turned off. I can't turn it on. I really leave it off anyway. I don't think it's really useful anyway. Cannot turn on the zoom mic or the wind noise reduction. But you can actually adjust the microphone level as well. And I think that's really it for the adjustments that you get. Okay, I just enabled the telemacro. And I'm looking at the piece of paper on the wall. And that is what it sees. We could bring it all the way up to the clock. There are the clock hands. If I use the zoom control, it goes back to normal. Alright, so this is going to be a test of the zoom mic. And that is about how well it works. Please do forgive all the yelling and swearing in the background. Somebody apparently is playing a very riveting game. I don't know. I wish they'd be quiet so I can actually record this video properly. The wind noise reduction is on, so it should sound a little bit tinnier. I'll go ahead and see how well it works. Actually, probably not so much with that thing. I have a fan on the floor here that I might be able to use to better demonstrate this. So we'll see how good the noise reduction is on this thing. The wind noise. Alright, this is the so-called low microphone level. You got low and normal. So I guess we'll find out what the difference really is. Supposedly this mode records background sounds like they actually are. Alright, so we get a couple faders as well. I think I'll demonstrate the faders. And the last thing that I will do is I will demonstrate or show you what came in the box with this camcorder. So if we go ahead over here, if I can get to the fader, I don't remember exactly where it is. There it is. We get a regular black fade. And a white fade. And that's it. Alright, last but not least, here is the box. You can go ahead and pause the video to look at any of these things. Remember a spare battery. This actually uses the so-called InfoLithium V series batteries. This is, of course, the NTSC version. Again, if you'd like to see any of this, you can pause the video and do so. Here's your battery chart. Of course, it's made in China. And it looks like a little bit more on the bottom. Just specifications for the included software. Anyway, we'll go ahead and we'll open up the box. And we can see here, for Canadian customers only. I wonder if this is still valid in any way. This is your accessory guide for a whole bunch of different models. You can pause the video if you'd like to read and see any of these. And I'm sorry for the shaking. I don't know how image stabilization is going to help or hinder this. But I definitely do have the essential tremors. Carrying cases. Waterproof case. That'd actually be kind of cool. Tripods. That's got the so-called remote control, so it's got an LANC connection on it. I love how they sell their own HDMI cable. I'm sure at a hyper-inflated price. It's mini HDMI and mini USB. So that's how you would connect it to a computer. LCD screen protectors. Here's a wide-angle lens. That's pretty much it. Play Memories Home, that's the software they tell you to download. I don't even know if it still exists. There's the 1-year warranty. Here's an actual legitimate user's manual, and it's only in 2 languages. So, user's manuals used to actually be decent. Go ahead and have a look here. This is the pouch that the camera came in. This is the power cord for the AC adapter, which looks like it's never been used. Although it would have to have been, because obviously this camera was used. It was charged, so I guess there's one thing. Unless they used their own cable. There's a USB extender for the built-in USB cable, which you will almost certainly have to use. There's the AC adapter. And in here, we have the regular AV cable. Here's the best part. Check out the size of this battery. Now, it's an aftermarket battery, so it's not a genuine Sony anything. But this is the FV100 compatible. That's how big they are. Hopefully, this battery actually works fairly decently, but then again, even the, what I assume is the FV30 that it came with, it's holding quite a decent charge. Of course, you got your usual warnings. So I think that's pretty much it for the camcorder and all its accessories. I'm sure I'm going to get a million comments from people telling me that I should record only in HD now, but that's not going to happen. Despite the fact I've got the camera, really the only intention of buying it was to see what $15 will really get. I don't know if I mentioned it, but yes, I paid a whopping $15 shipped for this. I don't know why it was so cheap, just that it was. And it seems to work, so that's pretty cool. But my intention was to use it to replace this camera as a workable storm recording camera, and also for things like how-tos and, you know, special type videos. The stuff that I put more effort into than just regular videos will probably end up using this camera as well. But there you go. There is your HD camera. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off. I hope to see you next time. Till then. And this is probably the best part of the whole thing. Okay, I'm sorry. That going on in there. I'm gonna leave it in the video, but that's absolutely hilarious. This is definitely an outtake, so I will go compose myself and finish this off. That was awesome.